Hello and welcome to our second studio session of Politics of Code. Today we will look a bit deeper into our new WordPress installation, in particular trying to deconstruct a bit of the scripts on which WordPress runs. So WordPress uses a scripting language, PHP. PHP has been around almost as long as HTML. It was published in 1995, so only like 18 months or so after the first web browser came out. Very early on, people started to build more dynamic websites with this new scripting language. It was originally published by Rasmus Lerdorf. So Lerdorf is an interesting character, I think, is about my age, and he's Danish, however, he was born in Greenland. So Greenland is an autonomous country which is part of Denmark, and Greenland, as you know, is the largest island in the world, very much up in the Arctic, between Iceland and Canada, so to say. Actually, Rasmus Lerdorf is the only person I would know that came from Greenland, so I think this is worth noting. And so he published PHP, and the name is a bit like, if you remember GNU, so the GNU has the name GNU, not Linux, so that the G in GNU is GNU itself, and so PHP is PHP Hypertext Processing Language. So it has the PHP in its P, so it's the kind of same pun that Lerdorf made here. So that's PHP, and there's a second scripting language we will look at another time too, which is SQL, the search and query language. So SQL, although many databases these days are no longer relational databases, no longer rely on tables, the query language to get data out of your database, even if it is a document-based database, is usually very much like the original SQL. So that is also important. Let's have a look now into our WordPress. So here you have the our instruction in the GitHub. Let's open the credentials page because we will need that. Also, I want to open my own WordPress installation with the index 0. So you see that's me. I have 2 posts already. Let's log in. That's here, and let's log into the dashboard, the administration dashboard, which has the URL, your URL slash wp -admin slash. So I now can log in with my credentials, and here we are. What I want to show you in particular is the themes. So this is where we make the WordPress site look like something. And if you want to do something with the themes, change it or so, you have a theme editor that warns you not to tamper with things. And here you can basically change the scripts. And that's exactly what we are going to do. So what we are going to do is working with themes. So, and I have that at the end of the page. You see here we have a closer look. Let's click on that and have a closer look. Let's, for that purpose, open an editor. I use Atom. You can use whatever you like. Of course, Atom is just what I use. It's open source and free. So that's just my preference here, and create a new file. And this file we name index.php. So, and I mean, you know that HTML has some kind of basic structure. So we always start with the header, the HTML header, and then have some meta information, like for example the style sheet. So we will need a style sheet. WordPress requires one, otherwise it will look like totally horrible and also create error messages. So you see the style sheet we will just call style.css, and that tells you that we will need a second file. Let's have a new file and call that style, in the same folder of course, style.css. So that's what we need, and then our WordPress site has a title. So let's call it a very general minimal WordPress page or something like that. So here, so far there is no script in it. It is just it's just basic HTML. So there is nothing dynamic. It is what you should have learned by now already in your previous encounters of scripting languages. And then we have, of course, the body. And now comes the interesting thing. So this is where the content goes. And in the content, we start using PHP. And PHP is a tag that very much like JavaScript is in the tag brackets and starts with a question mark PHP. So that tells your browser that that has to be interpreted as a PHP script. So, and we use a very simple function of our WordPress installation that is the blog info function. And we just, for example, query the character set of our WordPress. Then the always annoying semicolon, and then we close the PHP statement with a question mark and the bracket here. So yeah, that's basically it. And then we have to close the HTML tag, of course, as well. Let's save that. Let's go to our style sheet. So the style sheet is written in the cascading style sheet language, CSS, and we made it very minimal. We just have a body tag, a body class, and the body has just maybe a background color. I always have to remember that color here is because in the American writing, and let's say that's white. And then we have the headline, and that is maybe in red and centered. Very good. And then maybe second headline. I mean, probably won't use that, but let's just have it. and that has color blue. And then we have the normal paragraph in the body, and the paragraph has a, let's have that as Helvetica sans serif, and a font size 20 pixels. So that's our style sheet, very minimal. And now we have to upload that. To upload, we have to go to our credentials. Here is my credentials, that's me. And let's use FileZilla. Here. Username. Password. So clicking that away. So now we are connected to our WordPress folder, and all the files for a theme go in WordPress content in the folder themes. So you see the themes that are already there, and what we have to do is create a new directory for our new theme, and let's call that minimal. So go into that, and now just upload our two new files here. And now we go to the Manage a Theme in our dashboard, to refresh of course, and you see the theme Minimal is now here, and we can activate that. And now have a look at how our blog's appearance has changed, and so you see now we have this information indeed that our character encoding is UTF-8. So that worked. Now let's, before messing things up, let's close these, and we want to go on now. The style sheet is fine, but let's work on the index and explore a bit further what we want to do. So we can directly, remotely edit it. That is one of the nice features of FileZilla. So you can go and view edit, and then it opens in your editor software. So you see it here, and we can now try a different blog info parameter, like for example the URL of our style sheet. Save, and then you see that FileZilla notices that the source file has been changed, and we don't finish editing because we want to continuously edit, but we can just upload it now. And now the server has the new file, and when we go to our WordPress site and refresh, you see here now is the information where our style sheet sits. So the next thing that I want to show you is the echo command. So I mean, if you're interested in the PHP language, I'm just mentioning There is of course PHP .NET that has all kinds of documentation on the language in all kinds of languages, and so you find everything here, or in W3 schools or whatever you want to use. And O'Reilly has a lot of good introductions into PHP. Just look that up or learn it by looking into WordPress themes and just try to understand what's behind it. So yes, what we want to do is we change our thing here, script, and try the echo command. Echo basically gives back HTML. So we can, for example, echo H1, that's a headline, and then just type something in, and then we could add a line break. And maybe another text now. Let's have that closed, so that everything is a headline. And then, of course, we can still use our blog info function, for example, giving back the style sheet URL, as we did in the last. So let's try out. No. Not yet. I just noticed there's a semicolon missing. I hope now it will work. Save. Yes. So upload it. And now let's try out our new theme. And this is what we see here. The headline and the style sheet info show up properly. So now let's use our PHP scripts to make the code of the site a bit more dynamic. So first of all, what's that? First of all, we can, for example, use a dynamic HTML tag. We just put that in here. Instead of the HTML, we put in the language attributes which are passed by HTML. Then we make a new tag, the meta information, which is the character set. And what we put in here is some PHP code that does exactly what we have seen already. Gives back the character set information, and of course we have to close the meta tag. And the same with the style sheet. I mean, instead of having a static information where the style sheet sits, because we could think of having dynamic assignments of the style sheets, we changed the URL of the style sheets to a PHP lookup. So we pass back the information where the style sheet actually sits. And we could think of having switch now from one style sheet to the other, for example, change languages or things like that. And we go on with that, having another link, which is a traditional blog thing, is the pingback URL. And then, of course, let's make our title dynamic here. Instead of having a static title, we want, of course, have the title be the title of the very page that we look at, so that it is not always the same, but changes. And that is that we look up our blog info and then with a dash connected past the title of the blog here. And the same for the body. I mean, we add maybe a headline. Let's get rid of this. The headline is our blog info in the form of a link. So we have an anchor with our blog URL, so that we can click on that, and that's our headline. And then we have maybe the description of our blog. Still, we are not looking at posts. It's just what our WordPress site gives back. So, of course, this is wrong, and this is wrong. So let's see. Now, yes. Go back here. Refresh. And here you see this is the link with the WordPress title and the URL under it, and that is the description that we didn't change. It's the default description. So now comes a more interesting part, which is the dynamic lookup of posts. And if you scroll down here in our page, you see that described in the loop. So the loop, I mean, it's just a terminology that the WordPress people at that time came up with, because, I mean, actually what WordPress does is it loops and always looks into the database if the conditions are satisfied to pull posts. And this is how the minimal loops look like. Here, if have posts, while posts, the posts, and an end while. So it is a while loop, and we can just copy and paste that into our body. So here. Nothing has changed because we don't display that yet. What we need is put in the format information, how the content should be displayed. We to put that after in the loop after the post. So what we do here, we have a headline that says the title of the blog post, basically. This is these two lines here, and then we post the content. So let's see. Yeah, and here you see the two posts. Of course, that doesn't look like much, but this is no wonder. We have a minimal style sheet. But I would say if you look at, on the simplicity of the code to pull these pages out, to pull these post pages out, it's quite nice. Yeah, if you look further down, I mean, what we could then, of course, also add is a page that echoes if we don't find what we were looking for. For example, if we don't have any posts, then this comes up. And yeah, that's basically how the standard WordPress pages all work. It hasn't changed basically since WordPress was originally published 25 years ago. We can, of course, have the pages being looked up a bit differently. For example, if we have a page that has multiple authors, it's interesting to get only those pages that are published by the one author or the other. And here we have, therefore, a different loop. Instead of the while have post the post, we have the query. And the query is basically an SQL statement that is passed through that looks for example, this author in the field author name. So we create the parameter, the query, as a query that has just one criterion that is this author's name. And then we get only those posts back that have these author's name. Can just try that now. So instead of the loop, we have this other loop here, the query with this author's name. And that should now give back only the posts that this author has posted. Maybe before we refresh the page, just to show you, I have two posts here, but if you look into the posts, one I have posted as admin and the other I have posted in the form with the handle jbenno. So let's update. Let's update here. Yes, that is a trivial error. Update. Update here. And here you see it's only the one now. So it's only the one post and not the two. Now we can also try, of course, our now we can also try our 404 page. Let's just make a random other author here and upload that. So, and here it says content not found, which was exactly what we want it to do. So this was a very brief walk through the inner mechanics of the themes. If you look at the themes editor, you see here's our style sheet, and here is our template that we just did. You can change things here directly, like for example, like this, and then it changes, no surprise. More complex themes, of course. Activate that. Have much more different options. If you look at the theme editor, so you see, for example, there is a separate style sheet if you print out things, and this is the main index template, but we have, for example, other templates as well, and so on. So this offers much more customization in the style with these handy buttons here. Our style sheet would not have these options. I mean, if you activate that and try to customize it, then I mean there is not much to do. I mean, you can just switch things that are in the options table in your database. And if you have a more complex theme, then of course the customization is much easier. So in particular, of course, what our style sheet here and our HTML code is not at all is responsive or barrier-free. And that is, of course, something that you should always consider making a site. Keep in mind that people have all kinds of different devices and screen resolutions, so your design should always be responsive and take account of that. And the same is, not everyone is able to read, so always think of being barrier-free and make the theme accessible to people with determination. In the following weeks, we will continue to look into PHP-driven platforms, in particular the platform on which Wikipedia runs, the so-called Wikimedia Engine.